We're live. We're live. Hi all, and welcome to another episode. Obviously, I have to put out the apologies with all these time differences. It's a pain in the arse. But obviously, as of next week, it is going to be 7 p.m. UK. That's how it is. So, because our Andrea Mason's not going to be here because of that, it's all right. The show must go on. Hi, Andrea.
Hey, everybody. Hey, brother.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Hey, I don't want to jinx, so let me knock on wood, but you see, I'm not peekabooing right now.
I know. Come on. Right, so everyone, please do share this in awareness to actually get this episode out there. And I must say, this could actually be a trigger warning to everyone with the topic we're going to be discussing tonight. We've already got comments come flooding in already. Hello all. I've got my stand trying to collapse on me, so it's all right. So I'm going to stand on it. Hi from Canada, Robert Brooker. Hi, Kate. Hope you're well. We've got Jay Barnard here. He's the creator of Empower to Recover. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for having me. Thanks for having me tonight. And we'll talk a little bit about Empower to Recover, what we're doing. It's kind of cool how we're all in three different spots, but we're doing we're creating the awareness of what the world should be. You know what I mean? And I met you through Andrea, so Andrea's our global ambassador. So she's really working with trying to get. As we move, we want to become international with the platform, the live trauma, mental health, addiction recovery solutions platform, which is really exciting. Yes. So she became a global ambassador and is doing some really phenomenal work. Her story is phenomenal. Her book is phenomenal. All of us have stories, which is phenomenal. And that's really what the platform was. I did a TEDx talk in 2015, and I was just like, if I could gather up people to share their stories from a lived experience side.
Exactly. Yeah,
trauma,
and that's what we're all about. That's what we're all about. And obviously, big up to Andrea Mason for actually connecting the Warriors to you, Jay. And Andrea, we've got some things in the pipeline here. Obviously, Nancy's just tuned in. I hope you're well, Nancy. We've got her starting her new show, Recover Your Joy, on the 13th of November. That's going to premiere. Yes, obviously, I know me and Jay's continuing to talk about how we can actually help each other and just getting that word out there because we're pretty much doing the same thing. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, big things are coming. So, high November. The year's gone fast.
Oh, yeah. All I can say is, Jay, I got lived experience. Hit me up. I get paid for it here in Nebraska now. It's a thing.
Yeah, I've been, February 10th, 2024 will be 16 years into long-term recovery. So,
wow.
I've been, I've just been at this game a long time, building, not the traditional way. So yes, I did start in AA and NA and that stuff. But after year 2, I decided to build my own stuff and really see what a life beyond recovery was, and just was able to really create some serious magic because I'm a Red Sealed chef as well. So I've been a celebrity chef where I did things with William Shatner and Wayne Gretzky and Mark Messier and all these amazing Snoop Dogg and all these amazing people that I was able to meet through my my awesome chef career, which then launched my motivationally speaking career all across Canada in early 2013, which then launched the story going bigger and bigger. And now we're at a point where it's like, I've lived every dream I could as a chef, from having my own restaurant to owning my own food processing company. I had my own food processing company called Freshwater Cuisine, which was very successful over 5 years. Unfortunately, the pandemic destroyed us. I lost $2 million during the pandemic. And I had to close the business in August of 2021. And that's when I really made the decision and choice to go 100% into trauma, mental health, addiction, recovery, and solutions. And that's when we created our 6 and our 12-week program, which is called Hyper Recovery Coaching, which stands for Help Your Personal Effort, which is online. It launched on my 5,000 days. And people in the UK were doing the program, people in Australia, people in the US, people in Canada, people locally. So what I noticed, though, is that I had, in order to get in with us, you got to do a discovery call, which is free. And then you come in and I get to know where you're at, where you're going, and what you want to do. But what I noticed is out of these 560 something calls, a lot of these individuals were stuck in the system, and they couldn't, they were on wait lists. They couldn't get in to see counselors. They couldn't get in to see doctors. They couldn't get in to see they couldn't get into treatment. They couldn't get into So all these individuals were on wait lists waiting. So that's when I really took the initiative to push. We've put 62 people through the program of Hyper Recovery since in the last 2 years, successfully through the 6 and the 12. But there's this large amount of people that were in the system that, because I had it as a business, they couldn't afford it. So then I took on 46 people out of the goodness of my heart to help those people on a giving back side of things. So in realistic terms, we've almost helped 100 people come through. So at that point, I was like, I need to create a federal non-for-profit, and that is what's going to leverage contributions, leverage what we're doing today, trying to get funding, trying to partner up with people so that we can help people that need the help today, because there's wait lists everywhere. That's not a secret. Trauma, mental health, and addiction is at an all-time high. Suicide, overdoses, is at an all-time high. What we know is disconnection. We have to look in the eye of disconnection and bring connection, right? Because we just have this massive disconnection, and that's what's happened over the last 3.5 years. And people are just craving connection. So in March 29th of 2022, I met my friend Carl, who I'm going to introduce to you guys. He is from the UK as well, so you'll really like him, Adam, Carl, and. I said, hey, listen, I got this platform, and it was called Empower to Inspire at the time. And then my digital girl that does all my digital stuff, marketing stuff, helped me build Brooke. Her name is Sober Biz Babe. She's been in recovery for 7 years. Empower to Inspire was taken, and she came back and said, what about Empower to Recover? And I was like, what did you just say? Empower to Recover. You couldn't get a better brand, because it encompasses everything in life that is about recovery, because recovery just doesn't mean drugs and alcohol. You're going to get into trigger warnings and stuff like that here and whatever you want to talk about. But at the end of the day, for me, triggers are just unresolved trauma. The only reason I drank is because I had unresolved trauma. The only reason I used drugs is because I had unresolved trauma. The only reason I watched oodles amount of porn and sex and did all those things is because of unresolved trauma. The only reason I ate my face off is because of unresolved trauma. So if I'm not wanting to look at my trauma, I'm going to be stuck. So at the end of the day,
let's go into that. Let's go into that then, because obviously, and thanks for all your questions, guys. Robert, I'll get to yours in a minute, and Nancy, great opportunity. That's as it is. And please share this, everyone, as well. Because obviously it is about triggers. And the reason I picked on that word triggers is the fact that Bonfire Night is approaching us thick and fast. We've already had fireworks going off for the last 3 weeks in my area. But obviously, you're right. Triggers or activating, whatever you want to brand it, it is linked to unresolved trauma. But it's not just externally, but it's also internal trauma as well. But what I want to pick on is, because it's trauma with us, how does it impact animals?
Well, trauma, it's all like the way I look at it, right? Because you'll never hear me say I'm an alcoholic or an addict, because I'm not. No. Right? I'm in recovery. I don't use those labels. I'm okay if people do. That's their business. That's not mine. What I find is, if I do say those things to myself, I sit in preoccupied about spent time. That stands for past, right? So past equals depression. If I'm too far ahead in life, that equals anxiety. I need to be in the moment, which is right now. I need to be taking in the moment. I need to be doing those things. And if I can do that, I'm grounded, right? So for me, my whole entire life was trauma. I just ran from it, right? So how the world perceives what's out there is kind of not right, because we're dealing with trauma. I don't want to deal with this, so I go drown myself with whatever it is I'm drowning myself with, because I don't want to deal with my trauma. And I haven't quite yet found somebody that I can open up 100% honestly with. So at the end of the day, our platform has also created RMs, which are called recovery mentors. And what we're finding is recovery mentors, because there's no stress, or there's no stigma, or there's no barriers, or there's no nothing wrapped around love, kindness, and compassion, right? So when you're coming from a place of love, kindness, and compassion, people usually just generally share. I was in a meeting today of this really high up person that was talking to us about possibly partnering up. After an hour, all of a sudden opens up about, she's been in recovery. She stopped drinking in August. Now, this is a person that would never say these things, right? So just openly, because I come from a place of love, kindness, and compassion, openly because I give people space, right? So the biggest thing in the world right now is just giving people space, allowing for them to say what they're going through, you listening to what they're going through, and then you directing them. So you're going to hear a whole bunch of triggers throughout their speech, but all their triggers are is unresolved trauma that they haven't been able to look at or identify yet. So as it's not identified, then it becomes a big issue, because all of us have different levels of trauma. Like me getting hit by a shovel by my dad at the age of 2 at the end of the driveway because I wanted to play in the snow is an unresolved trauma that made me feel like I'm not worth it, made me feel like abandonment issues, made me feel like my dad didn't love me, all these things, right? So if I'm not going to take responsibility for whatever my part was in that, which was none because I was 2 years old, but I had to accept that happened in order to let that part of my life go. Because I can't go back to 2 and change that he hit me with a shovel, can I? No. So I have to accept it, or I can use that as an excuse to continue my path down whatever destructive path I'm going down. So I had to really take a look at the deeper side of what trauma was. So born as Jay Corey, but as born as Jay Corey, then moved to Jay Barnard, there's identity issues. Right. So
and the reason I'm saying it's a choice is because obviously we can't change for what happened to us. We can't control for what happened to us growing up. We can't. What happened. But what we do have control over is how we're going to respond to that now.
That's right. It's time to take accountability, and that's what I have to, that's what my work has been about, taking accountability for my choices now, because what happened, I'm not what happened to me. I'm not the trauma. And I wanted to get back to, there's a meme out there that speaks about, and I share it a lot, and it says something to the effect of, my sobriety entailed more than just, alcohol and drugs. It listed resentment, anger, trauma, and hate. So you're tying it all in with me right now and helping me to see that in a different perspective, sobriety in a different perspective, and probably everybody else here too. So sobriety isn't just about alcohol and drugs, y'all. It's about, trying to overcome anger, resentment, trauma, and maybe even hate. You can be in sobriety, I think, with all of those things is what I'm discovering talking with you right now, Jay. Thank you.
Yeah. So like at the end of the day, you don't have a drinking problem and you don't have a drug problem. People just want to tell you that you have an unresolved you have an unresolved issue with trauma. So because people don't want to be open and honest and say, listen, you have trauma, let's deal with it. Right. Because Big Pharma wants to say, here, take some of this. Here, take some of this, right? Like, how about we have the daily dose of recovery and give you a daily dose of recovery versus a daily dose of Big Pharma? So at the end of the day, it's like, I say people every time, they're like, well, I'm an alcoholic. We'll define what alcoholic is. What is an alcoholic? Define that. An alcoholic is a person that drinks to hide from their trauma. So you don't have a drinking problem. You have a trauma problem. So if you deal with your trauma, you're going to get a great recovery. And you're going to actually truly learn who you are. Now, everybody has a different recovery. Everybody recovers differently. Not everybody's foot fits in the same shoe. Not everybody, so everybody has a different way to recover. That's so awesome about recovery. But there's also more than one way to recover. And a lot of people have got to understand that. So if you're a person that is stuck and stagnant, try something new. If you are a person that feels like you're not moving forward, try something new. If you're a person that hasn't, if you're feeling like you're like white knuckling it and you're like just a dry, quote unquote dry drunk, which I don't even know what that is. But at the end of the day, if you're starting to feel like that, chances are you're not doing the inner work, right? So, it's like, I'll go back to triggers again, because relapse is one of them, and not a lot of people understand what relapse is, right? So a lot of people, when you say to them, what's a relapse? They said, well, I went and used. No, that's not true. A relapse, the using part is the last part of your relapse. Your relapse happens every day. You relapse. I relapse every day. How do you talk to yourself? What's your self-talk? How are you doing things? How are your manners? How are you taking care of your family? Are you talking to people on the street? Are you nice enough to open a door at Safeway and let somebody else walk in first? Or is it all about you? Right? So these things, people never get talked or taught what it is. So we're actually planning a relapse way before it happens. So we're planning the using, we're planning the place, we're planning the DOA, we're planning all of that stuff way before it happens. It's in our mind. We're waiting for the right excuse to get us, meaning we're waiting for something to hit us so that we can say we're not worth it anymore, because it all starts with the thinking, thoughts, patterns, triggers, series of events, and boundaries. Yeah. So once that happens, now we say to ourselves, we're not worth it. Now we say to ourselves, well, all that's left is this, right? So then we start kind of pulling away. We start being distanced. We don't talk to people anymore. We get stuck inside our heads. So now we're inside of this instead of our heart. So when you're in your heart, you're just really coming from a place of love, kindness, and compassion for yourself. And if you can go from a place of love, kindness, and compassion, the triggers are less because you're identifying things and you're understanding things. You brought up animals. So anything when you're around in a love, kindness, and compassion thing, nothing is getting triggered, right? Because you're coming from the place of pureness. If you have a higher power, if you call it God, whatever the case may be, the television, the jar of cheese whiz, whatever it is, whatever's keeping you alive, that's your recovery. So whatever your recovery is, you have to be proud about your recovery, and you can't let people sit there and tell you how to do it. You have to do it for you. And that I've worked with a lot of people that are stuck and stagnant, that kind of lose direction. They kind of get bored of going to the same place, talking to the same people, hearing the same stories, right? So that's what was exciting about launching Empower to Recover Foundation, because it's a whole bunch of different individuals from all walks of life sharing their stories. I mean, we got empowering youth. We got a 17-year-old by the name of Angel Roy, who's now branded as Street Angel, that's sharing her story of recovery of 15 plus months to help youth. Like 15 plus months to help youth and empower youth. And it's just one of the most beautiful things in the world to, we got hockey players, we got NHL legends.
Do you think you'll be able to get that youth person on this show?
I might be.
Because obviously last week, no, it weren't. It was yesterday when I was on Elizabeth Gagnon's show. I was getting questions flooded at me, and one of the conversations they want the Warriors to cover is actually mental health within children.
Yeah, I might be able to get on here.
That doesn't get told about enough.
No. So, and that's what's exciting about Calgary. So Calgary on November 18th at Silver Springs Golf and Country Club, we have a silver partner in by the name of the Alberta Adolescent Recovery Center. So they're kicking us off. They deal with complete youth, their facility. We also have Carl Heath, who deals with youth justice. He's from the UK. And then we also have Street Angel, who is 17 years old, sharing all about her story. She came to our first ever recovery day here in Kenora, Ontario on September 15th. And I was like, wow, you're traveling with us. Like, there's no way around this. You're Street Angel. We need you out there. And then we got business owners. We got Indigenous people a part of the platform. We have all kinds of different people, because recovery just isn't a one size fit all. Right?
Let me ask you, do you have all people of color? Do you have Black people?
So we're just starting to walk into that avenue, right? So we're going into our third event and under our third event, third city. So we are starting to talk to all peoples. So all peoples are part of it. We do have Beatrice Love, who is a part of the platform for the last 2 events. She'll be in Edmonton. So we have an event coming up in Edmonton too, February 10th. We're going to be celebrating my 16 years, the biggest indoor recovery party in Canada. I hope, or at least in Alberta. So Beatrice is Treaty 8 Indigenous. So yeah, we invite all peoples to the platform. Obviously, we can't have we have anywhere between 13 to 15 speakers all day. We also invite vendors, so individuals that are doing cool things that have hobbies. So not a lot of people, some people don't use their voice because they're scared, right? So they'll do a hobby. We had this really cool lady that made candles, and when it burned, it said a really cool saying. So you'd get inspiration from that. We also have a lady that lost her son at a really young age to suicide, and she makes key tags. They're called Sam's key tags, and then she puts what she would say to her son on the key tag, and then she hangs them by the grave. So when their friends go by there, they can grab the keychains. Now it's become more than that. They have a clothing line, and we're going to be taking key tags with us to Calgary to give to people. So just some really cool things. Then we have obviously treatment centers, second stage homes, nutritional products. Nutrition is really important when you're in recovery. So you got to really understand what nutrition is. And then we also have different businesses that come in and different people on a contribution side. If you do make a contribution to the platform, that makes you an impact champion. An impact champion means that we're bringing impact. That's what we have to do. We have to collectively bring impact to the trauma, mental health, addictions, recovery solutions platform in order to make impact.
So my question to that, and obviously, first of all, I am Richard. I am reading the comments, but obviously, I want to bring up before I ask the question, Jay. Nancy, you made a very good point. A successful recovery coach is able to hold space. Listening is powerful. We have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it is. So my question is, right, obviously you covered about triggers and all that. What, obviously about Bonfire Night again, what if you're a veteran?
So interestingly enough, we have veterans part of the platform. So we do have Mark, who is going to be speaking in Calgary. Operation Romeo is his podcast. He is the largest veteran podcast out there. He's going to be speaking at our event. We also have a lady by the name of Kate, who was an ex-police officer and also a veteran, a part of our platform. Mark really helps out veterans when it comes to recovery and trauma. So he has a really amazing podcast. Operation Romeo Trauma Recovery is what the podcast is called. So he's going to be sharing all about that stuff. So we do have that component in place as of Calgary. It's the first time we've had veterans share on our platform. It was the first time I went on a podcast with a veteran and started connecting with veterans. So I'm really excited about that aspect of it.
How do veterans cope around Bonfire Night then?
Around
Bonfire Night, because obviously when they hear a firework bang, straight away they're going to realise a gunshot or a bomb or anything like that.
So it really just goes right back to giving space, right? So for us, for what we do, honestly, it's just about listening. So it's about just sitting, giving the space, listening to what they're going through, coming from a love, kindness, compassion side of things. Giving suggestions on what's worked for us. So through Hypercovery at www.hypercoverycoach.com, there's a 6 and 12 week program where we really dive into your thinking, thoughts, patterns, triggers, series of events, and boundaries. But our whole premise and our whole platform, even at www.empower2recover.com, is a straight place of love. The world needs love today, and we need to come from that place. It's really getting back to basics and really showing individuals that they are loved, that there is compassion out there, that they are cared about. And we got to come from a kindness side of the world.
Yes.
Not everybody is, everybody's got something going on. So if you can lend space and allow them to speak, I'll tell you right now, they will feel 100 times better.
Yeah,
I just want to say this. You hit on another thing, which is listening. And I have a social work degree, my bachelor's, and I learned a lot about effective listening. And that's listening, with you, wholeheartedly, and not listening to respond, but really listening, watching the body language and those types of things. And you also mentioned you want to get more people on your platform of color. I'm a Black woman. I got a story. Hit me up. I'm here for you. I think what you're doing is amazing, Jay.
Yeah, thank you.
And look, you're even a chef. Hey, I had a catering business. So let's have a show sometime and you come back and let's talk about cooking, or if you don't call it cooking, you have another word for it, and mental health. Because that's what helps me a lot of the time is to go in that kitchen, right, Adam? Go in there and create. He's a cook too. He's a chef. We get down in the kitchen. So maybe we could have a show and talk about cooking and mental health. And maybe, just maybe you could bring Snoop along.
Maybe. I do have a TV show. We used to have a TV show called Lake to Plate. So it's up on, if you YouTube Lake to Plate, we used to cook all the different kinds of fish in our lakes. And we did probably 100 episodes on Lake to Plate. So I really dove into that. And then if you go and take a look for Chef Recovery, that's who I am. That's who I branded myself back in 2008, Chef in Recovery. But it's Chef Recovery, and you're going to see all kinds of different things that I've done and all the different kinds of foods and all that other stuff. And then
absolutely. Well, we've got a question, and I think this is a really powerful one. Thanks for sharing that, Nancy. How important is creating a lifestyle that is proactive so that we are better prepared for the trigger moments?
Oh, it's very important. It's critical to me and in my recovery. I'll say that.
Yeah, you got it. You gotta. So Hype is a 3-tier system where it's not all programming. So if you do all programming, you're gonna get bored, right? So we do have the active lifestyle where we do go to the gym, we do water Zumba, we do go punch the bag, we do stretching, we do yoga, we do those things, and then we also have the nutritional side because I'm a chef and I teach people how to. I teach them all about the interesting things about vitamin C, B6, AC11, vitamin D, all those things that are very important to us. GSH, which really helps out the detox side of things if you're going through detox. And then also I teach simple, easy recipes because a lot of people don't know how to cook. So what we've really did is we've created a wraparound service for individuals that get themselves doing a lot of things. So not just one thing. So if you just focus on one thing, eventually that one thing you're going to get bored of. And if that one thing is you're going to meetings 4 or 5 times a day, that's going to really burn you out. Number one. Number two, you're going to get bored of it, right? Like it's just going to happen. So you have to have these different things. Healing modalities. What healing modalities are you doing? There's hypnosis out there. There's Reiki out there. There's all these different kinds of therapy. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of therapies.
That's mine.
I love aromatherapy. I love it.
Yeah. Are you going to see him? Are you going and just go sit in a hot tub and take some time to yourself? What's your self-care?
I love that idea.
What's your self-care like? Right. I mean, a lot of people
real good. Right? Real good these days.
Well, and that's number one, right? So if you want a really good recovery, take care of yourself.
Hello.
You know what,
Jay? What does I'm sorry. What does GSH mean? What is that?
So it's a vitamin. Actually, the guy. So in Calgary, Kyle and Nutrition is going to start talking about GSH and what GSH does and how our systems are actually low on GSH, and the GSH is what helps the detox stage when a person's going through the detox period. So. It's a vitamin that helps you. We're low in it in our systems. We're deficient in it. A lot of us are deficient in it. So it really helps out with going through that, cleaning the liver and the kidneys and all that stuff out.
What's the official name of GSH? I'm trying to help all of us to have knowledge about it.
Well, I will tell you that after the 18th, because I am just getting schooled on this myself. So it is a brand new thing that Kyo Nutrition is working on. I'm excited that it's a part of our platform and a part of what we're doing to help individuals. We also have different nutritional products that help in anxiety and depression with a nano mist spray. So you spray it in your mouth, it hits the barrier of the mouth and it absorbs faster, right? Liquid nutrition is really good as well. Pills, not 40% of the population can't swallow pills. And also your body doesn't break them down. So you're not getting the actual nutrition out of them. If I was to suggest anything as a chef is if you're taking any kind of supplements or any kind of vitamins to really help your mind, body, and spirit, I would suggest liquid because it's the fastest absorbing way to do it. We also have another thing on our platform. They're called O-Snap. You snap them in your mouth, and it's liquid nutrition from a vitamin, a real big vitamin one to a sleeping one. A lot of us have problems with sleep, so the B12 and right. So there's things that we need. There's things that we need because today we know our food isn't giving that to us. There's no. I know this is now taking a trip into food, but there's no way that I should be buying a strawberry the size of my fist. There's no way I should be buying chicken breast the size of my head. So I know full well that this food is jacked with stuff, which is totally affecting the breakdown of my body. So I need to be getting the nutrition from another source so that I get the nutrition. Right. A lot of us are wondering why we're sluggish. Maybe it's, too much sugar. How much sugar are you taking? So these are a lot of the things. And that's a trigger too, actually. Food is a big trigger for people. You know what I mean? It's so accessible and it's so easy to get. And it's easier to go to your McDonald's than it is to actually make yourself something really good at home. Right?
Absolutely. And obviously, when it comes to, we have people flooding with all the kind of self-care, like just tonight, when obviously we all got mixed up with the time thing. It's pitch black outside. Andrea Mason got worried about me when I had her on video call. I was walking to the shop and walking back in the rain. And you know what? She got worried. And I'm like, no. It's therapeutic. And you know what? Just being out the house, even if it's for 5-10 minutes, it really helps you. It really does. Just being out in the rain. And then we've got a question of Richard. We in the UK, where is all your products based?
So the nutritional products you can get through MTC. So MTC is actually in. I mean, I can send you guys a link. That's where I get all our stuff. Sorry, let me rephrase that. A majority of my stuff that I get and that I help with people is on the MTC, which is My Daily Choice platform. So I can send you a link and you can send it out if you wanted, Adam. But that's where you're going to get the liquid nutrition. That's where you're going to get. I do plant-based protein. Right, so plant-based protein is really good for you. You want to know why you're buying protein and you got a lot of gas and you're shitting your pants? It's because it's jacked with stuff. Go to the plant-based. The plant-based is just as good. It's just got everything out of it, right? So the plant-based is going to make you feel more clear. It's going to make you feel more fuller. It's going to get you all the things that you need. You know what I mean? So,
like when it comes to sausages, like if we're going to make sausages and all that, we either get sausages from the butchers or we get plant-based.
Yeah, and because that's the other thing too is that you don't know.
You don't know what's in them.
You don't know.
But anyway, let's not go down that road because we'll have that challenge shut down. Let's not go down that road.
No. But I mean, that's the interesting thing, really. So at the end of the day, in what my life has become, I like to call it a life beyond recovery, right? I've always wanted a life beyond recovery where I can go anywhere, I can do anything, and nothing's going to bother me because I'm in total acceptance of myself. And if I'm in total acceptance of myself, that means I love myself. So I always say that I'm in a life now I'm not going to go to let's say a heroin shooting den and watch people shoot up heroin. I'm going to help them though if they need the help that they need to get off of that stuff. But when it comes to all inclusives or when it comes to all that stuff, I have no problem doing that stuff because you know what I mean? I know that I know that drinking is not my problem. I know that drugs are not my problem. I know that trauma is. So if I'm not dealing with the unresolved trauma, I'm going to get all kinds of triggers. So it goes right back to the triggers. If you're not dealing with your unresolved trauma, or you're not finding the space where you can talk to people or have a conversation with somebody that you can trust to tell your trauma to help you work through the blockages and how to identify what's going on with you, you're going to be triggered all the time.
So thinking back to, for example, when you were struggling and all that, what have you learned from them to now through yourself?
Getting out of my own way. So if I'm in my way, I'm going to have massive struggles. And when I mean in my own way, I'm trying to just do it my way. Right. So if I'm not, and also not coming from a place of love, kindness, and compassion. So I wasn't really living in my heart. I was really living in my mind. So if you're out there watching all the propaganda and you're out there watching what's going on in the world, there's really not much we can do with what's going on out there. Right. It's just bigger than us. So all we can do is lend our voice and lend spaces. So when I do that, that means I'm in my heart, right? But when I'm in my head, the world's a really dark spot. I'm really in my way. I can't really do a lot of things. I'm feeling crippled from depression and anxiety because I live a lot of my time in the past, which is preoccupied about spent time. So if I want to live there, I'm thinking in my mind that I can change things that happened to me. That's not true. I can't, because what happened to me happened to me. I have to accept it. Yeah. Or else I'm too far in the future and I just got all this anxiety of all this stuff I think I need, right? So a lot of the time it's money because everybody has money problems. So if I could only win this, or if I could only get that, or if I could, that's not true. That won't even happen. Maybe 1 in a billion, you might, right? But at the end of the day, the biggest thing I learned to do was stay out of my own way. So stay out of my own way, identify what's going on with me, tell myself in the mirror that I love myself, give myself really good props on self-motivating and self-talk, right? I don't want to sit there and say I'm a piece of shit or I'm not worth it or fuck you, Jay, or any of that stuff. I don't want to say that stuff because that is, in my eyes, I'm relapsing on negative talk. So I'm just trying to get myself feeling like shit.
I want to say this. When you talk about triggers, Jay, and you're talking about triggers, in a way of being unresolved, but I sit here and I kept wondering in my head, well, and I'm gonna give you one subject, racism, and people, seeing all these kids get murdered by the police and stuff like that. I have to quit calling it a trigger and really call it what it is, because it's happening in real time. And it's not a trigger of anything that happened to me. It's just hurtful.
Well,
so instead of
disappointing, it's
disappointment. Yeah, it's not a trigger, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
So thank you. You're helping me to rethink some things and look at things in a different perspective than I was before I met you. So thank you.
Yeah. So another one too, I did. You're welcome. Another one I did was I really took a look at the words. What words am I using, right? So, graduation is one word, that makes a lot of people think they can go party, right? So I always change that word to transitioning, right? Because I want to transition to do my life better. I want to transition these things. That if I'm going to transition, I'm just going to keep getting better and better and better. Yeah. Another one that I hear a lot of people say is the word hate. That word is really, really dirty, and it really hurts our soul. So what I really try to teach people is, hey, listen, don't use the word hate, use the word dislike, because the last word in dislike is like. So eventually you're going to like what you dislike. So if you keep saying hate, you're hurting yourself. You're not hurting anybody else. So if you go say, I dislike what's happening to me, or I dislike what's going on in the world, or I dislike all these things, it's going to bring you to a place, a faster place of acceptance, right? Because a lot of today's world is just really built on disappointment, right? Like everywhere you turn is disappointment.
It's negative.
So it's just a big pile of disappointment. And if you want to catch yourself in that rabbit hole, you're going to be in that rabbit hole of disappointment. And there's really, a guy sitting in a small town of 10,000, I can't really do anything about what's going on in the world besides trying to, give space, come from a place of love, kindness, and compassion, build platform that really helps people, get programming that really helps people. And in that process, accept and love myself, understand that I have unresolved trauma. If I want to feel shitty, don't work on my trauma. If I want to feel better, work on my trauma, right? So for me, it's that's how it is. And I find that life is pretty good. Even when life is upside down, losing the business, losing $2 million, going through a separation, learning how to co-parent, all these things, right? That a lot of people would use as, pour me another drink, or why is this happening to me? And it's not why is it happening to me? It's what are you doing about it, right? So I always got to sit and look at what I brought to the situation and accept what I brought to the situation. It's so I really tried to stay in that me forum. But when I can sit in the me, I can turn me upside down, and that's we. So if you take me and you turn me upside down, that's we, right? So once you're able to take care of you, and all that stuff, you can finally turn me upside down and make it we. A lot of us want to just run right to we because we have codependency problems. So because we have codependency problems, we're going to get triggered. So we get triggered by relationships. We get triggered. How could they be so happy? They have nothing ever wrong with them. Well, that's bullshit. Every relationship has issues, right? So
thank you.
But at the end of the day, right? What are you doing for you so that your life can be better? And if you're doing...
Yeah, we got a question for you both off Nancy, and thanks for sticking by. How important is the ripple effect of your own healing?
Well, it's in the UK right now, so the ripple effect's going way the heck over to the UK at the moment. And over to Nebraska and whoever else is on this thing. So my healing journey is coming from Canada, and I'm sharing it to the UK at whatever time it is over there, and Nebraska at whatever time it is. So
quarter to nine in the evening.
So
and it's 3:44 here.
So the healing, the rippled effect is whoever's taking the time to listen and give space for this live, just like we're giving space for each other. They're giving space for us. So if they're giving space for us, that means that we're giving space for them. And that's where the healing journey is going to start for them. Absolutely. If they're in the process of that. So the ripple effect starts the minute you open your eyes and you start putting it out to the universe.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to thank everyone who's actually tuning in tonight. I really do. Obviously, this message does need to get out there. So please do share the shit out of this.
Yes.
Share. And let's get people on board with this. So... We're coming up to like 45 minutes into the show already. I know you need to head off soon, don't you, Jay?
Yeah, I gotta get moving. But if people want to figure out or people want to connect with us, you can check out Facebook. We are up there on Empower #2 Recover. So it's Empower #2 Recover. You can also check out our website. It's www.empower2recover.com. We're also on Instagram. We're also on TikTok. If you look up Chef Recovery Hype, that's who I am on TikTok. We're also on X and all the other major platforms. You can follow Jay Barnard on Facebook if you'd like to see all that stuff. We do have events coming up. So if you are in Canada and you are in the Calgary area, we do have an event coming up at the Silver Springs Golf and Country Club, which is going to be absolutely phenomenal. We have 1989 Stanley Cup champion, NHL legend, a good friend of mine, Theo Fleury, who's going to be the keynote speaker. We also have 2 entertainers happening. We got Truth and Agony, which is a Saskatoon rock band. Their lead singer is in recovery from hard drugs, Lucien Brossette. Some people in the UK might know him because they're well known over there. It's called Truth and Agony. They're an amazing band. So he's going to tell his story, and they're going to sing a couple sets. We also got Greg Ryder, who's going to be singing, telling his story through his music, country singer out of Nashville, now living in Alberta. And we got business people. We got all kinds of things. So that's happening in Calgary, November 18th. Tickets are available on Eventbrite. We got about 50 tickets left out of the 160. And then from there, we moved to Edmonton February 10th to celebrate 16 years, a big recovery party. We're just unrolling. Then we're in Timmins. So if you are in Canada and you want to connect, the biggest goal is to get into the US, the UK, and Australia, and all those different places with this platform. I would love to come where Adam is. I'd love to come where Andrea is. And I'd love to put this event on in all these places because it's massively important to hear these stories. You can also send an email to empower2recover@gmail.com. That's empower2recover@gmail.com. If you have any questions, comments, or want any more information on contributing to the platform, because that's what helps our platform. If you have any questions about the nutritional products that I brought up and you're interested in taking a look at those, I can answer all those questions for you as well. That's empower2recover@gmail.com. And we have a podcast. So we also have a podcast. It's called Empower to Recover Podcast. It's on all major platforms. And we also just put up our YouTube channel. So we also have a YouTube channel that's called Empower to Recover, where you'll see all that stuff. So we do have a lot of stuff going on. I am pushing out your guys' stuff and sharing your stuff. And
awesome.
The UK does sit close to me. I have a good fan base in the UK from TikTok, which is always nice. We've helped a lot of people out in the UK with our 6 and 12-week programs with Hype. Yeah. So,
we've got Elizabeth Gagnon here. She's the founder of the Miss Liz tea. Like, she serves tea, not actual tea, but tea story. I was on her show yesterday. She's from Cornwall, Ontario, Canada, and she wants to connect with you. So what I will do is after here, I'll set up a group chat with you both.
Sounds good.
And Jay, I'm gonna send you a friend request as well as your Eventbrite page, and on the Gmail you'll get an email too. It's empower2recover@gmail.com. Is that a 2 number or do you? Okay.
Yeah, the number 2, and it's Empower, so it's EMPOWER number 2.
And guess what, Jay?
Yes, sir.
Nancy, she's watching from Edmonton, Alberta, Canada.
Wow, Nancy, you got to get to the Calgary event. It's only 3 hours away. And then we're at the Edmonton Convention Center, where we have 600 tickets right now up on Eventbrite. We're looking to have 750 people at the Edmonton event. Andrea, the other Andrea, might be at that event if she gets her passport in order. So that's exciting that Andrea is going to come across and speak at the event if she can get her passport in order. So we have that in the works already. So
yeah. Well, if you want me to speak at your thing, I'm all right to be there virtual.
Yep. So we haven't got to the virtual stage yet, because that does.
You're not doing hybrid yet, huh?
No, not yet. No, not hybrid. But
that's what they call it when I go to meetings and they have people that come, like for the party, they have people come either in person or so you'll get your hybrid going.
Well, that's not true, because we have Santa Claus Santa Claus opens us up, so he does a 5-minute.
Yeah,
I have a good friend named Santa Claus that has known me my whole life, and so he.
Yeah, well, Nancy's responded, but lol, I will be in Mexico.
That's better than Edmonton.
I want to go with you, Nancy.
I'll jump in the suitcase. Right. Well, I'm going to wrap up.
Awesome. Thanks for having me, guys.
It's been absolutely amazing having you all on. Always say dislike. Okay. Ultimately speaking, I have a burning desire to. All right. Okay then. But please tune in next week. Please tune in next week. We've got who we got? Hang on. Who we got next?
What you doing?
We've got Karim of how the boxer method helps trauma with under 10 minutes. And obviously if he doesn't show, because I've not heard from him today, me and Andrew will just come up with something. We will.
Yes.
We'll come up with something.
And Jay, I'm serious. Come on back, please. Let's do cooking and mental health show. I think that'd be a great show to do.
Yeah.
All of us are cooking. All of us are cooking.
Yeah.
Yeah, no problem. I'm actually dropping a new TV show next week. I just did the promo this week. It's called Your Daily Dose of Recovery Without Big Pharma. So
okay,
we'll have a new TV show as
well. I'm looking for all that.
Okay, I'm gonna bounce, and thanks for having me on, guys. I really appreciate you. Keep doing what you're doing, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah. All right, Jeff.
Thanks.
Yeah. Well. Anyway, thanks for that. Hi, Annette. Hi, Rebecca. Hope you're well. Obviously, we can keep going for next about 10 minutes or so. So it's all right. So please do get your comments in. No, we're not live at 9. Right. The original plan was for us to be live at 8, but because the time's changed, everyone was messaging me at like 10 to 7 to say, where are you? Where's the link? So as of next week, I've just had Karen message me now while you and Jay were talking. He's concrete for next week. So we've got Karen next week. He's got a following of nearly 4,000 people.
Yes.
So obviously we are going to be discussing how the Boxster method can obviously be, how dealing with trauma can be solved in under 10 minutes.
Right.
So that's going to be disclosed. That is going to be not at 8 p.m. UK, guys. It's not. We are going to be live at 7 p.m. UK, and that's going to be in it. That's going to be continuous now at 7 p.m. until the time changes again, which will be in the summer of 2024. So, no, I'm not going to be making egg on French toast. I think I've got something in mind what I can actually make. I think I've got something in mind.
Send a picture.
What was the topic tonight, Annette? We was discussing about triggers around Bonfire night. So if anyone has got any triggers or any questions quickly, we can answer them as much as we can. We are here. Please do share this because it's all good and it's all for awareness. If you're on YouTube and you're tuned in, please do subscribe because we are trying to get to 1,000 subscribers and we're almost on 700. Just like this is our 698th YouTube episode.
Wow.
We are nearly at 700.
Oh my goodness. I can't wait till we get to 700. We're going to have to, that's a 2 more. 2 more.
Which I think, Annette, when you're back next week, Annette Chiappi is, as she says on the message, she's back next week. I think her episode is going to be the 700th YouTube video, I think.
Okay.
But if it's not, then next Friday's show is going to be our 700th.
Wow.
It's going to be.
Yeah.
It's even going to be a net for hours.
Okay.
It's going to be a net for hours.
Go the mental health warriors.
I know, right? I know. So we're all here. We're all kicking ass. And thank you, Rebecca. Thanks, Annette. Annette, please do let us know if your show is going to go ahead next week. Right. Kate, your cat is very scared because of fireworks. Is there anything I can do to make her feel better? Yes, all you can do is comfort her. And I would recommend, because I don't like giving advice, that's telling people what to do. I would recommend actually getting your cat inside, because if your cat goes outside, get them in for around, because obviously I'll be doing the same, get them in for around 2:30 in the afternoon, because they normally start around about 4 o'clock UK time. So I would really recommend early afternoon. So anything you want to say, Andrea, before we shut down?
I just want to say that, you know what? I learned a lot. I always do on these shows. I say it all the time. But y'all, I just want to say, when you're looking at sobriety, don't just think that it's just alcohol and drugs. Know that sobriety also goes into your resentments and trauma. And you're in sobriety on those things as well. And I'm happy that Jay came today. It was a great show. Thanks, Adam. And I did not peekaboo today.
No, you didn't. Yes! You didn't. So now you know that for in future. Yes.
I know what to do now. Yes.
Yeah. So obviously, for people that don't know who's on the Mental Health Warriors, we've got every Monday 11 a.m. UK. We've got Stephen Smith. He's from Sarasota, Florida. He basically brings the sunshine up with you. His show's called LWN Life with Nature. And yeah, his show's obviously about the Sunrise Daybreaker, where he talks about all things to do with nature, which is absolutely phenomenal. We've got Annette Chiappi's Power Hour of Self-Care, which is every 2 weeks, but I know that's on a Wednesday currently, but I know that's due to change of the date. So obviously, she just needs to let us know. We've obviously got Fridays, where it's me, Andrea, and Andrea Mason. We're kicking ours every single week. We're now booked up until the second week of July next year.
Oh my
full of guests.
goodness.
Obviously, that's taking away the Christmas period. Obviously, the 13th of November, we've got Recover Your Joy with Nancy Nance. That's going to premiere. And yes, and that's obviously going to be Wednesday UK evening. I know that's going to 8 p.m. UK, which I don't know what that is. But obviously, I know I need to speak to Nancy about that. So yeah, it's all happening. What are your topics going to be around Christmas time? Oh, we're not gonna do it. We've got guests lined up. We have got guests lined up, but obviously, I'm not gonna say anything. You're just gonna have to tune in to find out.
Tune in.
Yeah, you're gonna have to tune in to find out. But while I'm here, let me just get the diary. Diary full of what we've got. Let me just have a look. Quickly. Let me just bear with. Just bear with, guys. We've got 1, 2. We've got 5 more shows left of this year.
Wow.
5 more
fast.
shows. And all I can say is, because Annette's here tonight, tuning in, she's been booked to actually be on one of the shows. She's on one of the shows. That's what I'm giving you. And that is the last show of Warriors of Attraction. That is the last show. Where it's actually going to be a dressed up one. We're going to dress up festive, Christmassy.
Yes, I will. I will do it. I'll probably have like bulbs for earrings and, maybe some Rudolph ears or a nose. Who knows?
Oh, I need to find out what I'm going to wear, because I don't know what I'm going to wear yet. I don't know.
Maybe I'll be Mrs. Santa.
Well, all right. You know what? Because I am starting to become in the festive period, which is very, very rare, I'm just going to give that 15th of December name out. Are you ready? The creation of evolution with a new resolution.
Wow. That's Christmas special.
That is a Christmas special, the 15th of December. Me dressed up as Santa. Hey, that could happen. I could end up coming as Scrooge. I could come as the Grinch.
You could come, yeah. There's a lot of characters for Christmas that we could come as.
Exactly. So it's all about it. So anyway, I'm going to love you and leave you. We are pleased that you're here. Please do tune in next week at 7 p.m. UK when we have Karim, and we're going to talk about the Boxster method that can be solved in under 10 minutes. And then, yes.
Okay. I can't wait. I'm excited for that one. I've never heard of the method, so I can't wait.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm going to love you and leave you. Please do share this, all in awareness, and we will see you all next week.
Later.
Later.